Okay, so in this video we're looking at dynamics and articulation. If we look at the first line, we notice that the dynamic is piano, and in fact the whole piece is piano, but we basically have some variations in dynamics. If we look at the second line, in bar 10 we have a small crescendo. It's still piano, but it has a small build. And then in the next bar, bar 12, we have a small sort of diminuendo. Okay, so quite subtle. And then in the third line, for the bars 13 to 16, we have a crescendo. So it builds, builds, builds. We has even more of a crescendo, and then at the cadence, it's marked forte. Then we have a return to the dynamic of piano that we had at the beginning of the piece. And then actually we have a small tempo change. We've got a writ in the last two bars. I'm not sure in my performance then at the beginning of the video that I really had much of a writ. I think I'd need a bit of a writ. And also it gets softer. We have a diminuendo. It actually writes dim. And then the last chord is PP, so like pianissimo. In terms of the articulation, it's all quite self-explanatory. It's all smooth. It's all legato. We've got legato, little slur markings. The left hand, we've got those dotted minims. So obviously that would be smooth because it's just one note and it's just being held down for the whole bar. But in terms of the articulation, there's not much variation in the articulation. It's all pretty much smooth. It's all smooth, yeah? You need to make sure, obviously, that you don't hold the notes down longer than the duration that they're written for. But essentially, dynamics is all quite self-explanatory. As I mentioned, piano, got some crescendos, diminuendos. More in the third line, as I said, more of a change in dynamics, then a return to the soft dynamic that we had at the beginning in bar 17, and then we have that writ and diminuendo and PP, and the articulation, as I mentioned, is very smooth, very legato.